First time buyers have their own bracket and their threshold is changing from, okay, one of the big changes announced in the Labour budget that no one was expecting, and it happened literally overnight, which affected loads of buyers, especially people buying an additional home. And there were a few things that weren't made too clear, but I've kind of read into it and I understand exactly who's affected, which is pretty much everyone. First time buyers, anyone moving and upgrading to another home and selling their current home, people who are buying an investment, people who are also buying a limited company, additional homes. If you're purchasing an additional home, then usually the stamp duty before this change is a 3% surcharge. Now, suppose you want to buy an additional property and the value of that property is £500,000. Your stamp duty would have been £15,000, but now with the new rules, you'll have to pay £25,000. So the worst scenario I can think of is if you're purchasing a property and Labour changed this, and they changed it overnight basically. So as soon as they announced it, they changed the rules literally within hours of announcing it. So back to the point of actually purchasing the property. If you were purchasing the property overnight, you would have a £10,000 increase on that purchase. This is going to cause huge issues for a lot of people. I've spoken to a few estate agents and they actually said that they're trying to save purchases and they're trying to save people in a property chain. So for example, if you've got 5 houses all being bought and sold and they all have to complete on the same day, if one of those people are buying an additional home and they can't get that extra money together, which has to be cash by the way, for the stamp duty, then the whole chain will break and everyone will lose out on their purchase. This is a change that no one really suspected that would happen, and it's taken everyone by surprise. While first-time buyers and residential buyers don't get affected quite just yet, there will be a change that will be introduced next year in 2025, and I'll break that down for you because that change is not that obvious to everyone and it's not immediate, like the additional home buyer increase in stamp duty. And I think it's going to affect first-time buyers in a big way because, well, let me just break down the numbers actually. And as you may know, that first-time buyers, they have their own little bracket as well. So, and their threshold is changing from £425,000 right down to £300,000. So effectively, if they were to buy a property before March next year, at the moment, first-time buyers can buy a property worth up to £425,000 without getting charged any stamp duty. And after March, this threshold will be dropped down to £300,000. So that's basically a difference of £125,000. Now for residential purchases that will complete after the 31st of March 2025, the stamp duty threshold has changed. So the amount you can actually purchase without being charged stamp duty at the moment is currently sitting at £250,000. Basically, you won't be charged stamp duty up to that amount. That threshold will be moving down to £125,000. So any property you're going to buy above £125,000 essentially after March will be affected by this change. Now there are even worse brackets when you go higher up in terms of property value, but in this video I don't really want to summarize that because there's not many people I know that will be purchasing a property above £600,000. Now you may think these changes won't affect you because the date is so far away from now, but the average property purchase does take around 12 to 16 weeks on average. It could take a lot longer. If you think about it, if you're buying right now or you've already started your purchase, it could actually end up completing after the 31st of March 2025, and then you'll have to actually pay that extra stamp duty. The government have not really made things clear in the sense, will they continue with this change or if they're going to make any amendments? So I'll be looking closely into that, and if things do change or there's talks about these changes, I'll be uploading a video based on that and keeping you guys up to date just in case you're making a purchase or you're thinking about making a purchase and you're not sure how these changes may or may not affect you. What should I say to as a closing? Okay, that's a quick video, basically a little update of what's happening with the Labour budget that will affect first-time buyers, residential buyers and investors, and it also affects people purchasing in a limited company as well. On this channel, we don't just give you property updates, mortgage updates, we do actually do renovations and we flip houses. We used to rent and we still do, but we're kind of phasing out of that and we're doing more property flips, so we're buying properties that are derelict and they're need a lot of work doing to them, and we essentially do the work ourselves if we don't have too many deals going on at the same time, or we get tradesmen to come and help us and they complete the property. And if you want to see stuff like that, subscribe to the channel.